Bonjour à tous. Welcome to the Beauty Witch August. Leo season is in full swing and I could not be happier. And I know you're feeling it too. I know you're feeling that transition. When Leo season is in full swing, you're coming out of that Cancer energy of being very internal, very introspective. And now it's big and bold and bright. And there is no time like the present to enjoy the fruits of summer. I always see Leo season as not only my personal favorite, but it's kind of like when you're a child and you have this last blast of joyful abandon before things get more serious. And really, it makes sense because the lion rules the fifth house. That is the playful, childlike, buoyant energy, big heart, big courage, big excitement, big drama, big, bold, exciting, golden, light, creative, and also very, very, very passionate and romantic. So whatever you're up to, don't forget to enjoy life. Embrace it. Now, I would always advise living life to the fullest in any season. But particularly now, Leo's like a giant cat bounding onto your bed first thing in the morning, pouncing and demanding your attention, but then is all too happy to stretch out in the sun and lounge a while. That's the mood we're after. Now, can you guess what the Leo tarot card might be? Strength. This card is about expressing your passions with inner strength, resilience, and loving energy. It's about a radiant warmth and vitality being the key to success. And this is from the Tarot de Mercy deck, which I love very much. And also, this is from the Astrological Oracle deck, the Sun. Isn't that a gorgeous card? The Sun is Leo. Leo is the sun. And I use this deck a lot when I'm reading for people, and I love it. And to me, this is the brightest card in the deck that can possibly come up. It is the best possible outcome. So keep that with you. And with all that energy that we're talking about being present, we begin sultry August with a full moon in Aquarius on the 1st. Now, usually I like to work full moon magic on the evening before when the energy is at its most powerful. But that can get a little tricky. And here's a perfect example of that because she is void of course until just about midnight on the 31st. So if you're a night owl, take advantage of that and work your magic in the wee hours. If not, get your ritual in just before 2:32 p.m. on August the 1st. Now this moon is interesting, and I think I say that about all moons, but this one really is because Aquarius is all about the collective and Leo all about the individual. So keep that in mind as you consider how this all plays into last month's forecast about putting your passions out into the world while at the same time using Venus retrograde to really reassess your needs in both business and relationships. But really big picture, this is about getting our passions out into the world in a meaningful way, in a way that's meaningful to us. So maybe it's as a career, but it can also be a side gig that you just absolutely adore. It can be something that makes you money or not. It can be really anything that comes from inside that you really need to get out there. And part of this time recently has been assessing, what do I really want to put out there? And is the thing that I've been putting out there what I really want? And we've spoken about that, but just kind of to draw it into this month's energy. And as you recall, it has to do with what you're doing out in the world passionately that then enhances your home space, your home life, making it more stable, more secure, more nurturing. It's also tuned into that Aries North node we're talking about, where we're making our mark as individuals. There's a lot going on, always. So two things with this moon. The first is that now we know what we want, and we've given some thought to how to get there. Aquarius wants us to find our people, our groups, the collective. I really see this as who are our business allies. It doesn't have to necessarily be a group that's close to you that you're interacting with all the time, but who's out there in the world that you want to connect with? Where do you want to see yourself? In what company? Whether it's on a shelf, whether in a shop, whether it's a certain type of audience you'd like to possibly cultivate, and who will help you to get there. So whatever vein your creativity flows through, utilize that information and really sit with that and really work with it. We're also going to use this retrograde, this Venus retrograde. We have other retrogrades coming up, but we'll get there. Using the Venus retrograde to weed out those alliances, those groups, those connections that no longer serve us. And then Leo wants our attention. So he's there to remind us, how can we stand out in these groups? How can we be an individual within the collective? Now, for some of us, this can be really challenging because for some people, there is a natural tendency to absorb into others, to just sort of glide into a group and stay there and kind of try to be unnoticed. And for others of us, we tend to avoid groups like the plague. So it's about letting some of that BS go too, and allowing yourself to be part of something in a way that suits your own strong sense of self, but still you're part of it. So it's, what I'm talking about, two different extremes here, but they're very, very real, and they can provide challenges. So depending on where you fall in that spectrum, keep all of this in mind. The other gorgeous thing is that the Aries North node is really supporting this also. You're going to find that this North node, I'm going to keep talking about it for the next year and a half, because this North node is really supportive to everything that you want. Sounds very selfish in a way, but really we have to pay attention to ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to do what makes us happy. Otherwise, we can't be of use to anyone else. So this is about always being in that headspace more than ever, more than normal. I think this is always a really good practice, especially when you talk about magic and creating things and making them real and manifesting. This is really key, because you always want to be in that headspace of what you do want, and not sort of that mental complaint, constant loop of what you don't want. Very, very important now more than ever, because with fire energy, it's very, very, very potent in terms of making it real out in the world and attracting energy. Fire energy is so incredibly magnetic. So it's extra important, no matter what your sun sign, no matter what your rising. It's very, very, very important to make sure you're constantly putting out there what you do want, not what you don't want. And I know I keep banging on about this, and I know that my more introverted friends out there are going to not want to hear this, but it's a really good time to get out and about in groups, socializing, get out there, make contacts, because you will make contacts, you will make alliances, you will spread the word about what you're doing. And people, you'll find this magnetism where people are just like, oh, I know someone who, oh yeah, that would be great, and oh, we should talk, and it will be easy. That Leo vibration is so outgoing and friendly and warm and courageous, so you get that boost. And to be honest, with that, all that warmth and all that good, big-hearted energy, if someone's not meeting you on that level, who wants them anyway? I don't. Do you? So this moon's potion is from my book, and I'm calling in all the big cat energy here. It's called Children of the Sun. You may be familiar with it. It's a phenomenal oil for your entire body. It's been conjured to unite moon magic with the life-giving solar potency that's so needed for growth and vitality and energy and strength and passion. Because of course, with all of that brilliant light out there right now, just shining on us, there does come an inherent aridness. Is aridness a word? Dryness. So this potion is here to drench your skin in rich moisture that's so needed right now, head to toe. Most of the cosmic action this month actually intensifies later in the month. So we have these 2 weeks between the 1st and the new moon on the 16th, not only to really bask in that glow of what the full moon has shown us and enjoying the Leo radiance, but to let go of all of the things that just don't fit into this new world we're creating for ourselves. And that brings us to our gorgeous, gorgeous new moon on the 16th in Leo. You guessed it, of course. The new moon occurs at 5:38 a.m. and then moves into Virgo at 7:14 p.m. So here's what you want to do. The night before, make sure you, because it's going to be a dark moon, make sure you release those very last bits of anything that has hindered your confidence in any way. So that whole dark moon process, you've been letting things go, but now this is that very, very, very last letting go. Anything that gets in the way of your radiance, done. So let go of all the energies, the habits, even people and situations that hinder your courage, your own individual beauty, your magnetism, your strength, all those good things you need. Again, fire energy is incredibly attractive, meaning that it attracts. So you want to make sure that you're always attracting good things. And then just rest. This is what dark moons are for, to just rest. It's the death before the rebirth. And it's so, I feel like it's often overlooked in terms of moon magic, but it's really, really important. It's important that we observe it every single month, best we can, really. Because with the new moon now, we're going to bring in really what we need. So look around and ask yourself, what truly brings pleasure? What is giving you what you need? What's fun for you? With work, with love, with life itself. Where in your life do you need more creativity? More play, more fun, more just joy in the little things, really. What do you find entertaining? Because Leo is all about entertainment. Where do you need to inject a little glamour into your life? And how can you bring this energy into your space? That's going to be the key. How can you align this energy with your passions? And you know I'm going to say that beauty rituals go a long way here, because they do. Because they just do. Oh, yes, the potion. The potion. For this new moon, it's all about the mane. It's all about the mane. Isn't it always, though? It's all about the hair. This potion is a vivacious hair mist that imparts shine, it detangles, it protects your parched summer tresses, and adds moisture without a heavy oiliness. So it's actually really okay for thinner hair, fine hair, as well as thicker hair. All different textures will benefit from this. It combats frizz and even gives a bit of UV protection. Now, Mercury at this point of the month is going to be in his pre-retrograde shadow too. So you're going to want to go into that mode. I don't want to be a drag about it, but you are going to have to go into that mode a bit. So you know all the drill. Back up the devices, triple check your communications, your travel plans, your mechanical things, and your communication, your speech. Very, very important. Your speech, your written communication, your texting. You know, just be very clear, because it's very easy to have things go off the rails. Oh, I do hope you've used this time wildly, mes amis, because on the 23rd, the sun leaves his home in Leo and moves into Virgo, where honestly, he isn't terrifically comfortable. You see, all these playful vibes now get serious. It is much like going back to school, where you're kind of excited, but you're also kind of anxious. This is a transitional time where the energy can get sort of flustered. It can really up those feelings of anxiety and kind of have a little bit of a tense energy. And Mercury retrogrades now also, so there is a tendency to overthink, and it can be a little hard to make decisions. So what you will need to remember, besides all the usual Mercury retrograde chow, is stay grounded. Think about what grounds you. Don't overthink it, but just get your immediate intuition about that. Now, for many, it's getting in the dirt. Literally, it's gardening, it's walking in the grass barefoot. While for others, water is actually grounding. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but think about it. When you're traveling and you've just gotten off a plane, what's the first thing you do? Shower. Yes, it's plain gook. Yes, I get it. You have to get that off of you. But it's also that water grounds us. The other great thing to do is to consume grounding foods and beverages right now. For instance, root chakra vegetables and tonics, deep red things like berries and beetroot. Even a good dark chocolate is excellent right now. It's excellent for grounding and evening yourself out, as long as it's a very, very high cacao content, not a lot of sugar. There's some great non-dairy versions out there, which I love, because dairy does heighten emotional responses. Sugar is going to heighten your anxiety. It's also going to wreak havoc on your skin. So if you can keep it really, really clean, it's a great, great thing to have on hand at all times. At all times. And and speaking of health, Virgo season really gives us 4 weeks to ponder our health and well-being, alongside forcing us to pay attention to those details that are very, very necessary to move forward in every aspect of life when Venus and Mercury go direct. So once again, use the time well. Ben, I told you the second half of the month was going to be busy. On August 28th, Uranus, our planet of surprises and shocks even, retrogrades in Taurus until the end of January. What does that mean? Well, Remember that Uranus is also the planet of innovation. So yes, shocks, surprises, people tend to hear Uranus and get very jumpy. And there's reasons sometimes. But remember that with this innovative energy, the vibes that will seem to come out of nowhere and maybe knock you off course a bit, they're for the higher good. They're for growth. They are ultimately to make you stronger and put you on the right path. So this retrograde is very much about letting go of anything that is unhealthy in any way, wherever there is a toxicity. Venus rules Taurus, of course, so we have that recurring theme again of love and money, relationships, career. Not only is it the prime time to let go of any noxious, potentially very harmful energies in both of these areas, but Uranus is going to create a rebellion against them. There can be this sudden, I've got to get out of here, I've got to get out of this situation kind of vibe. And because it is all of a sudden, you know, something you may have been tolerating for a while or ignoring or just hoping will pass, suddenly it becomes impossible to bear any longer and you have to break free. You just have to break free. It's just, I gotta go. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. No turning back. Don't ask me any questions. I just have to go. So prepare yourself by looking at any place in your world that might be damaging in some way to you, and you'll be able to see it coming a bit better, as best as anyone can. And last but never least, we end the month with a blue moon. A blue moon. Yeah, very cool. Our second full moon of August is in Pisces, and it's on the 31st at 9:36 p.m. And this is going to bring to culmination what you were working on, that theme of the Pisces new moon back in February. And this one is compelling because there's the Piscean dreamy, gauzy kind of fantasy world, a little bit of a made-up world that's actually going to get amplified by the drama that comes with the full moon, comes with any full moon energy. So there can be a bit of an delusion vibe going on, coming to the surface, but there's also a fantastic chance to open up to the spiritual expansion that's actually been happening over these past 6 months. That's come to fruition, hopefully, and you can really see it. And as always, you know, if you've been doing the work and sort of aligning with the planets and the moons and all that's going on, you will see something has happened. It's also a fortuitous time to open up to intimacy too. There's a lot of romantic energy going on. There's a lot of romantic energy available. And that's where I would go. And definitely get near water if you can in any way. The fish loves that. And water is going to heighten your intuition and your creativity always, every time. And that's all for this month. Thank you for joining me. As always, have a wonderful month.